Hello, my name is Rachel Ben-Margi, and welcome to my multimodal narrative presentation. So let's start with the background of why I decided to learn Russian. I have always been surrounded by Russian-speaking people growing up, the matter of fact that I ended up marrying one. So you can imagine what family dinners look like, me sitting and observing, picking up on certain words and different body language gestures, while everyone carries on with their conversation. I decided that this would be a great opportunity to pick up on a few new words using the app Duolingo. The process started off by signing up to Duolingo. Once I signed up, I referred myself to the beginners section. I then pressed on the first badge. It showed me a picture and asked me which of the following was a boy, girl, or man. Once I pressed on the right answer, it would pronounce the word for me in Russian. Throughout these activities, in my first hour of learning Russian, I was able to relate to content learned through receptive and expressive language spoken about in week 1. I was able to listen and repeat what the word was that was being presented to me. A lot of the basic words I started learning in week 2 to construct sentences seemed easier than I expected. I was introduced to words that have similar meaning to the English language. This relates back to content spoken about in week 3 when we were introduced to cognates and how words can be similar to the English language in the way that they sounded. Words that were introduced in this week's session was soup, which translates to soupchik, pizza, which is pizza, and actor, which is aktor. This week, for my hour of learning Russian, Duolingo had me creating sentences based on what I was hearing. I would hear 3 to 4 words in Russian and would have to put them in the right order. To my surprise, the sentences that I was creating seemed to be out of context once translating them. This reminds me of the content we had discussed in week 2 when we were speaking about syntax and how word order can vary depending on the language. The place of where the verb was in the sentence didn't seem correct to me. This sentence translates to toilet where. In the English language, we would ask where is the bathroom, please. I found that this related to course content, again spoken about in week 2, about sociocultural competence. What I may consider polite is dependent on my audience. I had to verify if my translation was correct and asked my husband, who confirmed that that's how you would ask where the bathroom is. On the 4th week, Duolingo had me focusing on constructing sentences based on words that I heard, as well as listen to words and speak into the microphone to repeat them. If I pronounced the word right, it would let me move on to the next round. If I didn't, it would make me repeat what I had heard until I was correct. This allowed me to work on my pronunciation and expressive language when speaking Russian. As you can see, it took me quite a few times to get the sentence right. In English, it is pronounced good evening, and after practicing, I can now say in Russian, Dobre vechin. For my 5th week of learning Russian, I was able to unlock different categories in Duolingo, which tested me on all areas that I have learned this far. Whether it be reading, writing, pronunciation, or constructing sentences, I could see the development of me attempting to learn a third language was becoming more successful. This is the first week I had started feeling like I was getting the hang of it. The one thing that was still hardest for me was the pronunciation. I really think it was difficult for me because of the stress and pitch of each word. Words like dobre utra or как dela, which I'm still probably not pronouncing right, have different pitch than it would when speaking in English, saying good morning or how are you. I was able to complete this week with an achievement because I wasn't giving up until I completed the round, especially since this is how I would be speaking. For my last week of learning Russian, I was able to get tested to move on to the harder levels. This achievement test had me fill out different writing. I found it very difficult because the phonology may look the same as English, but the vowels and consonant sounds are completely different. To write out milk took me between 4 to 5 tries. Although it took some time and correction, I was able to write the word out and complete the test and open up a new level. As you can see in my example, there are many similarities in the way the letters look and sound, like M and O, so milk in Russian is moloko. This assignment was really beneficial for me because I really wanted to learn how to speak Russian. Although 6 hours is not enough, I definitely made my foundation of the language more concrete by being able to hold a simple conversation with a lot of code switching from English to Russian when practicing with my husband. It was really fun and educational, and I always looked forward to learning Russian on Sunday evenings. Thank you.